Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.
Hello, fine folks. This is Freedom Fighter, and I'm your host of Goldilocks Global Banking News. Hey, folks, on December the 27th, 2024, there is very important regulations that are going to go into effect and become law related to the economic financial system here in the U.S., and of course, it's ultimately connected to the RV. One is from the IRS, under the Department of Treasury, and the others related to carbon credits. When we see that regulations related to carbon credits and emissions are going into effect, we know that the global financial system, along with the U.S. financial system, there is a major transition. Before we get into that, we're going to get into ISO, which are the codes. Remember, International Standardization Organization that Goldilocks has shared. It's very important because those are the codes. The IQD is the code, the ISO code for the Iraqi dinar. VND for the Vietnamese dong is the ISO code. If only you knew the importance of these codes and how they play a major role in our exchanges, you would pay attention. So let's jump right into it. All right, folks. These are best practices, and it's a white paper that's been released by the Bankers Association for Finance and Trade on the International Standardization Organization ISO 222 codes. Did you know that XRP and other ISO codes and tokens is what will move our digital assets in the new banking system, the quantum financial system? Did you know that the Vietnamese dong, the Iraqi dinar, and every currency will move digitally through the quantum financial system for us to exchange as a result of the ISO 222 codes? You may have heard this several times by Goldilocks and it didn't sink in. Sometimes it takes multiple times to hear the same thing to realize how important it is. Goldilocks wants to mention this and something new once again for you, hoping you will listen, pay attention, and understand how the codes for the currencies that you hold and want to exchange are so important and relevant. So the Bankers Association for Finance and Trade, they have provided a detailed recommendations and strategies for financial institutions, so for banks, to smoothly transition to these codes that are needed for our exchanges. In the quantum financial system, it's a digital format, a blockchain. There are codes that must be in the system in order for the communication and transmission of our currencies in the system. Now, you don't need to know the codes. You don't need to understand the codes. You just should be aware that they exist. There's even codes for every currency, and there's codes that people don't even realize that they have currency or bonds that don't even have a code. I'm just going to plant that seed right there and continue. ISO 222 is a universal payments messaging standard that can benefit the entire payment systems and the ecosystems as well, including for banks and market infrastructure and you and I as people exchanging our currencies. Some benefits of the ISO 222 include consistent data interpretations. So that's the consistent interpretation of the currencies in the banking system. Improved customer insights. So this is for quick and easy access to our information that we will have in the new banking system as a result of the ISO 222. Streamlined cross-border payments. Let me say this in another way. Streamlined cross-border currency exchanges, meaning quick, fast, efficient exchanges. Compliance and standards, strengthened corporate treasury activities, efficiency and speed as well. These guidelines will give new direction as the international payment systems are interfaced with the ISO 222 messaging system. Remember, the messaging system, the ISO messaging system, is so important because in order for us to exchange dinar, for example, for US dollars, there must be a messaging system in place to communicate. So the Central Bank of Iraq sends a message to the Federal Reserve to exchange that dinar for US dollar. That's the importance of the ISO 222 messaging system, is it is the system that sends the message from Vietnam to the Federal Reserve to exchange the currency of dong to USD. The messaging system to exchange that sends the signal across the digital airways from Iraq's bank, the Central Bank of Iraq, to the Federal Reserve so that we are able to exchange. This is the importance of the ISO 222 messaging system. Goldilocks has been sharing about this for quite some time and felt that it was necessary based on the new information from the American Bankers Association, how they as well are implementing. Then Goldilocks is sharing that by the IRS under the Department of Treasury, yes, the IRS has been rolled under the Treasury. They have a final rule on December the 27th, along with carbon credits that are going to go into effect December 27th. Pay attention. There's a final rule that the IRS has going into effect to become law on December the 27th. It will established by the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. You don't have to understand all that. Just understand this one I'm about to share. The purpose of this new rule is to assure certain solar energy components are effective, such as wind energy components, inverters, qualifying battery components, applicable critical minerals as well. This is all about the record keeping and the final regulations and taxpayer benefits. Remember, this is the IRS. So the taxpayer benefits for those who are utilizing the advanced manufacturing production credit for these energy efficient mechanisms. This will be going into the Federal Register and become law on December the 27th. Also on December the 27th, it's the implementation of our energy transition, which will begin on December the 27th. It will set the stage for various companies, products, and needs for those to be able to produce. The energy transition is extremely important to the United States, as it is considered crucial for addressing climate change, enhancing energy security, boosting economic growth by creating new jobs in the renewable energy sector. As you can see, Goldilocks is sharing this particular transition related to the energy sector, whereby carbon credits and carbon emissions is very important. Goldilocks is sharing we will see a change in the way that we live, how we live, and our ability to live pertaining to the energy sector. It is important to note that this information from the Federal Register is highly important if you choose to understand the contents of it. We cannot move forward until the energy transition had guidance to do so. Goldilocks is sharing this was one of the pieces to the puzzle of the RV that was needed as a part of the transition before the RV. Goldilocks is sharing look for many changes to happen rapidly after December the 27th. Because this will determine prices on several products that could not be solidified in the new quantum financial system until now. Goldilocks is sharing, as a result of this, carbon solutions are here. Links will be in the description for you to check for this on your own. The receipts are there. This information absolutely affects the assets around the world, such as silver, gold, and others, that will be backing our currency and giving them value. Be well, be kind, be
Hello,
in
beautiful
love.
people. This is Freedom Fighter.
Unconditional love.
Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.